The cry in the dust. The sky was gray. Dust floated in the air like smoke. Broken houses stood all around. It was the ruins of a village that had once lived in peace. Now, everything was quiet. Too quiet. A man named Reed walked slowly through the wreckage. He was human, a traveler, just passing through. He had seen war before. He had seen pain. But something about this place felt different. Suddenly he heard it, a sound, a cry. It was soft, but full of fear. Help. Please. Reed stopped. He turned, his head. The cry came again, louder this time. Mama, wake up, please, wake up. Reed's heart tightened. He ran toward the sound. He moved past burnt walls, over rubble until he saw it. There, sitting on the ground, was a small alien boy. His skin was pale green, and his eyes were big, full of tears. His hands were shaking as he tried to pull his mother's arm. The alien woman lay still on the ground. Her clothes were torn, her body was thin, she wasn't moving. Reed rushed forward. The boy looked up at him, afraid. Don't hurt her, the boy shouted, trying to protect her. I'm not here to hurt anyone, Reed said softly. He knelt down beside them. The woman wasn't breathing. He checked her pulse. It was faint, but still there. Barely. She's alive, Reed said. But just barely. The boy let out a broken sob and hugged his mother. She won't wake up. I tried. Reed placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. What's your name? The boy sniffled. Neck. Okay, Neck, listen to me. I'm going to help her. But I need you to trust me. Neck looked into Reed's eyes. Something in the human's voice made him nod. Reed lifted the alien woman carefully in his arms. She was light. Too light. She hadn't eaten in days. Maybe weeks. Neck walked beside him, still holding his mother's hand. As they walked through the ruins, others saw them, other aliens, other survivors. But no one came close. Some turned their heads, others whispered. Why is he helping her? That's a cursed family. They should be left to die. Reed ignored them. He found an old road and followed it, heading toward the nearby outpost. There was a medical tent there. He had seen it before. When they reached the tent, a young nurse, a purple-skinned alien, stepped out. She needs help, Reed said. The nurse looked down at the alien woman and then at Neck. No, she said coldly. We don't treat her kind here. What do you mean? Reed asked. She's from Sector 9, the sick zone. Anyone from there is banned. But she's dying, Reed said, angry now. And this boy, he's just a child. It's the law. Reed stepped closer. Then break it. The nurse hesitated. Other staff came out, curious. Some were shocked. Others looked afraid. Reed placed the woman gently on the ground. He stood tall. Fine. Then treat her under my name. I'll pay. I'll sign whatever you need. But you're not letting her die like this. Silence. The nurse looked at him, then at the others. Finally, she nodded once. Bring her in. But if anything happens, it's on you. Reed smiled a little. That's fine. They brought the woman inside. Neck sat beside Reed, holding his hand tightly. You're not like the others, Neck whispered. Reed looked down. I'm just human, Neck. That doesn't mean I'm good. But I know this. No one should cry like you did today. Outside the tent, a few people watched. One act of kindness had just begun to shake an entire world. The tent lights flickered as Reed sat quietly beside the medical bed. Neck sat on the floor, holding his knees, eyes locked on his mother. Machines beeped. Tubes were connected to her arms. But her chest barely moved. The doctors had done all they could. Now it was a waiting game. She's not breathing well, said the nurse, checking the monitor. Her face showed worry, but her voice stayed cold. Her lungs are damaged. Starvation, dust poisoning, exhaustion. Too much. She'll make it, Reed said, more to himself than to her. Neck looked up, eyes full of tears again. She always said she'd never leave me. But what if she lied? Reed leaned forward. She's still fighting, Neck. I saw it when I carried her. She didn't give up yet. Just then, the door flap opened. Two tall figures stepped inside, officers wearing dark armor and sharp metal pins on their shoulders. The room felt colder. "Human," one officer said, voice like a knife. "Step outside. We need to question you." "About what?" Reed asked, standing. "The female. She's from Sector 9. That zone is under investigation. Her presence here breaks the medical border laws." "She was dying," Reed snapped. "That doesn't change the law," the second officer said. Neck stood up fast, trying to hide behind Reed. "Don't take her," he whispered. Reed clenched his fists. "You want to arrest someone? Take me. I brought her in." The officers stared at him. "You have no rights here, outsider." "I have this," Reed said, pulling out a badge from inside his jacket. A red mark, an old Earth military ID. One of the officers paused. "You're a soldier?" "Retired, but my badge still gives me one legal favor. This is it." The room went silent. The officers exchanged glances. Finally, they turned to leave. "You've made your choice, but if she dies, don't expect mercy." When they were gone, the nurse looked at Reed surprised. "Why would you waste that one favor? On her?" Reed didn't answer. Neck did. "Because he's not like us," he whispered. "He hears when someone cries." Hours passed. The machines kept beeping. Neck fell asleep holding his mother's hand. Reed stayed awake. Suddenly, the monitor beeped faster. The nurse rushed in. "Her pulse is dropping," she shouted. Reed stood, heart racing. "What's happening?" "She's crashing. Her lungs. She can't breathe on her own." Neck woke up and screamed, "Mama, no!" The nurse pressed. Buttons called for help. Another medic ran in with a small machine, a breathing aid. They worked fast. Reed couldn't do anything. He could only watch. Neck cried harder. "She's going to die, just like Papa." Reed knelt beside him. "Listen to me. You're not alone, I promise. No matter what happens, I'll stay. I don't want you, I want her." Neck sobbed. Reed hugged him tightly. "So do I." After minutes that felt like hours, the nurse looked up. "Her breath is steady again," she said. "She's still weak, but she's holding on." Reed let out a deep breath. Neck looked at his mother, wiping his eyes. "She's strong." "Yes," Reed said. "She's still fighting. Just like you." But outside the tent, someone else was watching. A shadowy figure leaned against a wall, eyes glowing softly. He spoke into a small device. "The woman is alive. The boy too. And a human helps them." A voice replied, deep and cold. "That human will become a problem." The figure nodded. "Do I remove him?" "No," the voice said. "Not yet. Let's see how far he's willing to go." The figure faded into the shadows. Inside, the human sat beside the alien child, unaware of the danger that was growing outside. He had saved a life, but now he had started a war. End of Part 2. Aap chahen to Part 3. They told him to let her die bhi likh deta hoon. Suspense aur zyada badhta jayega. Tayyar Karoon? Oh, you said. Start with Part 3 more unique. ChatGPT said. Title: My Mother Won't Wake Up. The desperate cry of an alien boy. Only one human ran to help. Part 3. They told him to let her die. Word count, 800. Style, third person. Language. Simple basic English. Morning light slipped through the cracks in the tent walls. The air was cold. The machine still beeped next to the alien woman's bed. She hadn't woken up yet. Reed sat nearby with a cup of cold water in his hands. He hadn't slept all night. Neck was drawing on the floor with a piece of burnt wood. Pictures of stars. A small figure with a big head and one tall human. His little hands moved slowly, carefully. Suddenly the flap opened. A woman walked in. Her clothes were clean, her voice calm, but her eyes were sharp. She wasn't just a nurse, she was someone higher. You're the human who used his badge, she said, arms crossed. Yes, Reed replied, standing. You should have let her die. Reed's face turned cold. Come again. The woman stepped closer. That alien woman, she's not just poor. She's marked. Her name is on the blacklist. Sector 9 exile. Carried unknown sickness from the lower moons. Do you understand what you brought in here? Reed looked down at the sleeping woman. Her chest still rose and fell, slow but steady. She's a mother, he said. That's all I need to understand. She's dangerous, the woman hissed, and if she survives, you'll be blamed. Your name will be on that list next. Neck looked up, scared. Why? She didn't hurt anyone. Reed walked over and placed a hand on Neck's shoulder. It's not about right or wrong, kid. It's about fear, and fear makes people cruel. That afternoon, things got worse. Reed tried to buy medicine from the local booth. The seller spat on the ground. Not for alien scum. He went to refill water, but they shut off the tap. No, human protection for Sector 9 trash, said a worker. Even the nearby children began whispering and pointing at Neck. That's the cursed one. His mother spread the gray fever. He'll kill the human too. Reed didn't react. He simply took Neck's hand and walked back to the tent. But the silence between them was heavy. At night, a message came in. A small paper slipped under the tent flap. Reed picked it up. She dies tonight. If you care for the boy, leave now. No name, no symbol, just a warning. Reed stared at it for a long moment. Then he tore it in half and threw it into the fire pit. He turned to Neck. We're not leaving her, no matter what happens. Neck nodded, but his hands were shaking. Just before midnight, footsteps approached. 3 figures, cloaked and silent, moved toward the tent with slow steps. Inside, Reed waited. He had dragged in a metal pipe from a broken machine outside. His grip tightened. The first shadow entered. Reed struck hard, once, twice. The figure hit the ground, groaning. The second lunged, but Reed shoved him into a wall. The third backed away and ran. Neck screamed and covered his ears. Reed stood over the attackers. Tell your boss, we're not afraid. After the fight, the tent was a mess. The nurse came running, shocked to see what had happened. You're making enemies, she warned. I already had them, Reed said. Now they know I'm not running. She looked at the bruised man on the ground. You shouldn't have done this. You could have died. Reed smiled bitterly. So could she, but I didn't let that happen either. Later, as the stars shined above, Neck whispered, Why did you stay? Even when they came to kill? Reed looked at the sleeping mother. Because once, long ago, I cried like you did. And no one came. He touched Neck's head gently. This time, someone did. The boy didn't speak. He just held Reed's hand tightly, like it was the last light in a dark world. Outside the tent, the wind howled, but inside, something stronger was growing, not just protection. Family. The morning was quiet, but not peaceful. Inside the tent, the alien mother stirred. Her fingers twitched, her lips parted. A soft breath escaped her mouth. Neck gasped. Mama? Her eyes opened, weak and glassy. She blinked, confused. Her gaze searched the room until it found the boy curled beside her. Neck? He rushed forward, wrapping his tiny arms around her. Reed stood silently near the wall. Relief washed over his face. You're safe, he whispered. She turned to him. Her voice cracked. You helped us? Reed nodded. You were dying. He cried for help. I answered. A tear rolled down her cheek. She opened her mouth to speak more, but coughed hard. A strange color rose to her lips. The nurse quickly rushed over. She's not stable yet, the nurse said. She needs full analysis. They wheeled her into the back chamber for testing. 2 hours passed. Reed waited, pacing. Neck sat nearby, holding a sketch he had drawn. A picture of his mother, awake and smiling, holding hands with him and Reed. It was the first time he'd drawn her standing. Then the nurse returned. Her face was pale. You need to come. Now. Reed followed her into a cold, clean room. The alien mother lay on a medical bed. Tubes still ran from her arm. But it was the screen beside her that stole his attention, a map of her cells. Strange. Glowing particles moved inside her blood. "What is that?" Reed asked. The doctor stepped forward. His eyes were wide with shock. "It's ancient. It's not just blood. It's encoded." "Encoded?" "Yes, she carries a forgotten genetic pattern from before the War of the Moons, a code lost thousands of years ago." Reed frowned. "So she's a carrier of what exactly?" The doctor hesitated. "She's a key." "A key to what?" "To something the Empire never wanted found again." Outside the room, two masked men in black suits waited near the gate. One of them spoke softly into a communicator. "She has the gene. It's active," a voice replied, deep and firm. "Then we must act. That human has no idea what he's protecting." Back inside, the mother opened her eyes again. She looked at Reed. "They'll come. They always do. When they know what I am." "What are you?" Reed asked softly. "I was born in Sector 9, yes, but not like the others. My blood carries a history buried long ago. A royal bloodline. Before the Empire erased us." Reed sat beside her. "Why didn't you run before?" "I tried," she said, voice shaking. "But when Neck was born, they marked him too. Said he was cursed. Said he had to die before he grew strong." Reed clenched his jaw. "He's just a child." She nodded. "But his blood holds the same pattern, maybe even more power than mine. That's why they burned our village. Not to punish, to erase." Outside, Neck sat by the tent entrance, staring at the horizon. A soft wind passed by. A shadow moved. A man in a long, dark coat approached. He smiled kindly at the boy. "You must be Neck." Neck stood up, unsure. "Who are you?" "I'm a friend of your mother's," the man said. "I came to help." Neck frowned. "She never told me about you." The man's smile didn't fade. "She couldn't, it was too dangerous, but now she needs to leave. And you too. I can take you somewhere safe." Reed stepped out just in time. "Step away from him," Reed growled. The man's eyes narrowed. "I'm not your enemy. You didn't knock, you didn't ask. That makes you a threat." The man's smile dropped. "So be it." He raised a small device and pressed a button. All around the tent, sparks lit up. They were surrounded. Reed picked Neck up and ran inside. "They're here," he said. The mother looked at him, fear rising. "They found us." "How do we fight?" "Them?" Reed asked. She looked down. "We don't. We run." "But you're too weak." She slowly sat up. "I'll crawl if I have to." Reed pulled open the back flap of the tent. The path led to the ruins, dark and sharp. "Then we vanish," he said. As they escaped through the shadows, machines closed in from the front. Too late. They were gone. But the hunt had begun. They ran all night. Through ruins, tunnels, broken pipes, and dead cities, Reed led the way. The alien mother limped behind, holding Neck's hand tight. Her strength was low, but her fear was high. They stopped just before dawn in an old cargo station deep underground. The lights didn't work. Water dripped from the ceiling. It smelled like rust and silence. Reed blocked the door with broken crates. "We'll rest here." Neck sat on a blanket made from his coat. He looked around with wide eyes. "Are we safe?" "For now," Reed said. But even he didn't believe it. The mother leaned against a wall, shivering. Her eyes closed for a moment, then opened again. She looked at her son. "Neck," she said softly. "Show him the mark." The boy looked confused. "Mama?" "You're back. The mark they put on you. He needs to see it now." Neck hesitated, then turned around and lifted his shirt. There it was. A strange silver symbol, right between his shoulders. It wasn't a scar. It glowed faintly like it was alive. Reed stepped closer. "What is this?" The mother's voice shook. "It's not just a mark. It's a map." Reed blinked. "A map to what?" "To something ancient. A hidden vault. A place the Empire wanted to erase forever. My son was born with the path in his skin. Reed sat down, his heart racing. Why Neck? They thought I was the last carrier. But the gene changed inside. Him grew stronger, smarter. He is not just a keep. She looked at Reed. He is the door. Suddenly a noise. Footsteps. Slow. Cautious. Reed grabbed a metal rod and signaled them to stay quiet. He moved toward the door. Then a whisper. Please. Help me. Reed paused. It was a young voice. Scared. Crying. Just like Neck had been. He opened the door a little and saw her. A girl. Maybe Neck's age. Her skin was pale blue. Her dress was torn. She held her arm like it was hurt. Who are you? Reed asked. She looked up. They're coming. They took my parents. Please, don't leave me here. Reed looked into her eyes. They weren't normal, too calm, too perfect. He stepped back. That's when the wall exploded. Soldiers poured in through the smoke. Black armor, glowing rifles, red visors. The girl smiled. She wasn't lost. She was a tracker. It's him, she yelled. The marked child. Take them all. Reed grabbed Neck and ran toward the back. The mother followed, coughing hard. Lasers hit the walls. Sparks flew. They barely made it through the tunnel exit as it collapsed behind them. They reached an old rail platform, panting. Everything shook with each breath. The boy clung to Reed. I'm sorry, Neck said. It's my fault. No, Reed said. It's not. They want me because I'm different. Yes, Reed replied. But not because you're weak. He knelt down. They're scared of you. That's why they want to hide you or hurt you. The boy's lip trembled. But I'm just a kid. Reed touched the glowing mark. Not anymore. That night, as they camped inside a train car, the mother told Reed more. Neck's mark shows the way to a vault, but it's not treasure. It's memory. Memory? Reed asked. Yes. Of the true history, of what the Empire did, the wars, the erased bloodlines. If people saw what's inside, they'd rise. And you think your son can unlock it? I know he can. Suddenly, Neck whispered, Someone's watching us. Reed turned fast. A figure stood outside holding a glowing disc. No weapons, no armor, just a symbol, the same one as Neck's mark. He stepped forward and said, You're not alone anymore. The man with the glowing disc stepped closer. His eyes glowed faint yellow, but not like a soldier's visor. It was natural, alien, but calm. Reed stood in front of Neck and the mother, ready to defend. I don't want to fight, the man said, lowering the disc. My name is Tavar. I'm one of the last memory holders. I've been waiting for him. He pointed gently at Neck. The mother's eyes widened. I thought all the holders were gone. They are, Tavar replied. Except me. Reed still didn't lower the pipe in his hand. Prove you're not with the ones who attacked us. Tavar stepped forward and dropped the disc at Reed's feet. It projected a light, a memory. A vision appeared in the air. A large hall filled with alien children, marked just like Neck. Soldiers stormed in. Fires burned, screams echoed. The screen turned red, then black. The mother gasped. That was the cleansing of Ilara. I escaped, Tavar said. Since then I've searched for the last one marked by the vault signal. For years I heard only silence. Until your boy lit the signal. Reed looked at Neck. You did this? I don't know how, Neck whispered. I just dreamed. I dreamed of doors, of light, of voices. Tavar knelt beside him. That was the vault calling you. Later, inside the broken train car, Tavar drew symbols on the floor using a glowing pen. The vault was sealed before the Empire rose to power. It holds truth, memories, technology. It could break their lies. But they'll kill us before we get there, Reed said. Tavar nodded. That's why we must awaken what's inside Neck first. What do you mean, awaken? The mother asked. His body carries the key, but his mind must open it. That night under the cold stars, Tavar guided Neck into a trance. The boy sat still, eyes closed, breathing slow. Do not fear the dark, Tavar whispered. The light inside you is older than fear. Reed watched, uneasy. Suddenly, Neck's mark glowed bright. His body began to float, just a little. His hands opened wide. Energy flowed from his skin like golden mist. The mother gasped. It's beginning. Then Neck spoke, but not in his voice. I am the heir of Ilara. I remember the stars that burned. I remember the mothers who cried. I remember the lies that killed us. Reed stepped forward. Neck. The glow faded. Neck fell into Reed's arms, weak but alive. Tavar nodded. He's not just a boy now. He remembers. He carries the past. And the map. Map to where? Reed asked. To the truth. But in the shadows far away, something else had awakened. Inside a deep Imperial base, a machine blinked red. It read the signal from Neck's awakening. A voice spoke. Target confirmed. Activate the silent hunters. 3 dark pods opened. Inside were creatures, not soldiers, not even human. Beasts built to track and erase memory blood. One of them growled. Back in the train car, Neck opened his eyes. He looked at Reed, tired but smiling. I saw them, he whispered. Our people. The vault. It's buried under the stone planet. The one with no sun. Gravix, the mother said. It was forbidden long ago. Tavar stood. That's where we go. Reed nodded. Then we'll go, but not alone. He looked outside. Already he could feel the storm chasing them again. But now they weren't running to hide. They were running toward the truth. And Neck was no longer just a child. He was the light that could burn an empire. The ship shook as it entered Gravix's atmosphere. Dark clouds covered the sky. Lightning cracked across a red horizon. Gravix was a dead planet. No cities, no sunlight, no sound, just rocks, storms, and secrets. Inside the small ship, Reed stood beside the boy he had once found crying in the dust. Neck was calm now. Older in the eyes, wiser in the soul. His mark glowed under his shirt. He didn't shake anymore. The mother held his hand. Tavar, the last memory holder, sat at the control panel. This is it, he said. The vault is underground inside the canyon ahead. But the silent hunters will be close. What are they? Reed asked. Tavar's face darkened. Death. Sent by the Empire to erase truth. They follow the mark and eat memory. The ship landed in silence. They stepped out into the wind. It cut like blades. Dust curled around. Their boots. The ground cracked under each step. At the canyon's edge stood a stone gate, half buried. Neck placed his hand on the center. It glowed, then opened. Stone shifted. The gate cracked, revealing stairs that led into darkness. They entered. The walls inside glowed faintly with ancient writing, spirals, stars, names. Reed whispered, This place, it's older than history. Tavar nodded. This is where the truth sleeps. In the center of the chamber stood a large crystal, floating, humming. Neck stepped forward. It's waiting, he said. But just as he reached out, a growl echoed from the tunnel behind them. They had arrived. 3 silent hunters entered, tall, black-skinned bone masks for faces. They didn't speak. They only moved. Fast, deadly. Reed grabbed a pipe. Get behind me. But Neck stepped in front of him. No, Neck said. They came for me. I'll end it. He raised his hand. The mark on his back lit up like a star. The crystal answered. Light burst from it, striking Neck's chest, then shot out in every direction. The walls lit up. The ancient voices returned. I am memory, the vault spoke through Neck. I am what they feared. The silent hunters screamed. Their masks cracked. Their shadows burned in the light. One by one, they fell. Gone. Silence returned. Neck fell to his knees. Reed caught him. You okay, kid? I remember everything now, Neck said softly. The names, the pain, the hope. I carry it all. The vault floated down to him. A small crystal broke free and rested in Neck's palm. This is the seed, Tavar said. With this, people can know the truth again. All of it. But the Empire, Reed began. They'll try to stop it, the mother said. But once the truth is out, they can't bury it again. Back on their ship as they left Gravix, the stars returned. The mother held her son close. Reed looked at the stars through the window. You still could have walked away, she said. Why didn't you? Reed smiled. Because when I heard him cry, I remembered myself. I wasn't a soldier anymore. I was just a man, and no child should cry alone. Neck looked up at him. Are you my family now? Reed put a hand on his head. I think we already are. Far across the stars, the seed reached the outer colonies. It spread, truth awakened, and all because one human stopped to help. Not because he had to, but because he chose to.